And you've got these two, which I use, which is the quickest with twin blasters, and also takes the least amount of time to shoot. Anyway, let's get going, shall we?
Good luck.
So, here we go. This is actually the world record rate. Yeah, I am looking to get a new mic soon, so don't worry. So anyway, we have to defeat 4 members of Star Wars, 3 of which are each on a planet, like guarding a planet, and 1 of them is before we face Andros. Yeah, apologies about the keyboard clicking. Yeah, mate, good thing you bring that up, Meta Knight. These 2 are never in any of the other games. So anyway, before I move on to the planet, I'm going to wipe out this missile here. Now, in any percent normal, as you'll see later, I don't do any of these space battles. But in this category, because of the amount of damage Corneria will take, I need to be aware of the damage Corneria is taking. Because if it hits 100%, then then it's game over, of course. Same way, Fortuna. Some of the best music in the game is on this planet. You may also notice that the game is extremely low in terms of frame rate and very inconsistent on the frame rate. That is because this used the FX2 chip. And obviously, because ROM hackers have worked on this for quite a long time now. I need to stop saying So, because ROM hackers have worked on this game for quite a while, because it's run on emulator actually, it actually doesn't run as cleanly as we thought it would, as it should normally. But this also introduces the underwater mechanics. So on each planet there's an outer section, and there is also a core. So, and the music's different in each as well. Kick Gunner is somewhat random. He will spawn in 1 of 4 places. And that's him out of the way. Now within each core, you also have to wipe out the center. Yeah, Star Fox Zero introduced the walkers, but actually it was on Star Fox 2 beforehand. And that's where, if you read some of the interviews, the inspiration came from for the walkers. It could potentially run quicker, and I believe it actually does because the FX2 chip is actually inside the cartridge. Kakarot, 25% of Star Fox 2 actually was used in Star Fox 64. So some of the overworld things, some of the sprites were upgraded from this game. Anyway, the second space battle is also quite important because these guys actually, what they do is, unlike the missiles that just land on the planet, these guys hang around. These guys will actually circle the planet and continue to do damage. On any percent hard per 1 in-game time, they deal 15% damage. So 7 in-game time will wipe out the planet. Will basically wipe out Corneria within around about 8 in-game time. World record in this category is 2303, and any percent normal, which will be straight after, is 1045. and I believe this category can go down to 2030. One of the problems with this speedrun is simply the space battles, which are of course mandatory. The problem with the space battles is that the map in the top right corner does not actually... The map actually up there does not indicate height. It only determines location. Welcome to Mash City. There is no other way to defeat this boss apart from just mashing. There is no other way. This guy can take a lot of damage. There are different ways that I've tried to beat this boss quicker, but there's not a simple way right now. Like, we've tried bombs with this, we've tried all sorts of different things. But this thing is just, you know, you just have to mash and hope that he doesn't, you know, go the wrong way. Just a pain to deal with. Come on, why? Don't know where he's going. Come on, Dodora, go down, please. There you go. Also, this section here, this very, very short section, kind of shows what pace this game could actually run at if fully optimized. You can see it runs really smoothly. Partially clip into the building there. So those buildings outside, you can actually clip into them. And you can actually clip into them from all angles. So you can actually go from the other side of that building, clip through, and still trigger the cutscene. Also, one of the tricks here, if I use a shield in between flames, I don't actually take damage. we back up. Apologies about that. There was a couple of tech issues. Hopefully we're back up and running. Let's carry on, shall we? Sorry about that. It's good to have the tech issue sorted out. So anyway, battleships act differently compared to battleships are slightly different to planets. And the fact that they don't technically have an outer section. These things that can be a pain if you are not aware of their movement cycles. I'll leave that house, thank you. These things have 4 spikes on them. In any percent normal, they only have 3. Anyway, that's 1 battleship down. There's 3 more battleships to go. So anyway, next up is Meteor. Meteor is one of the more interesting planets to do, shall we say. Because there's a specific strategy that I can do that will, it basically, it saves a good period, it saves a good amount of time. Also, these guys from Star Wars, they control you pretty badly. Because they can actually, when they dodge your shots, it's completely random whether they do or don't. Like, there's times when they can block 8 to 9 charge shots, and that can definitely get annoying. So, Meteor. Let's see if I can do this. 1. You may also notice that I transform into a walker temporarily before swapping back to flight. The reason for that is that it makes it easier to move the plane around. It makes it a lot easier. If I can remember where the entrance is, that would be a positive. Let's see if I can get this. This is not an easy landing to make. Got it. That landing can be very, very finicky to get, safe to say. Because if you slightly overshoot it, then you're gonna have to try and get back on that platform, and that center bit actually causes you to take damage. This is the power-up room. In warm-up, I actually got 2 power-ups in this room, but it's random whether you get 2 or not. And the game decided to not give me any power-ups. I swear this game knows. You may also notice that I do bump into the walls. It actually helps with maneuverability. Because when you crash into the walls, you don't take any damage from them. So instead of having to adjust your flight to avoid the walls, I just use them to help with maneuverability. It helps quite a bit. Anyway, that's the planets out of the way. This is a little bit of safety here. I'm heading back to the ship here because it fully heals you. Anyway, let's wipe these guys out. This is for pure safety. In a standard RTA run, I would not go for this. I would not wipe these out because there's not normally a lot of point to it. But I decided, you know what? Let's get them out of the way because I don't want them to be mercy killed. Like, come on. You may notice that the locking on mechanics here are very, very awkward to deal with. And the reason for that is because the game sometimes can't distinguish what enemy it wants to lock onto, so it will continuously flip between the two. Definitely a pain when you're using charge shots. Definitely is a pain. Anyway, the second battleship, and you may notice something else came up on that map. It's what's known as a virus. A virus only comes up in any percent hard and any percent expert. You won't see the virus in any percent normal. What the virus does is I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. The turret defense system that basically protects the planet, it basically gets taken over by Andros, and it will launch attacks on core area. And yeah, it's definitely a pain. It's definitely a pain to deal with, especially if you're far away, especially on an expert. But what I'm going to do after this is I'll intercept that to reduce the damage, or reduce the chances of damage anyway. You can actually glitch into these. You can actually clip into those spikes and actually shoot them. You can actually shoot them from inside and actually still deal damage to it. However, the only problem is that you actually take damage for every second that you're in there. So whilst it's cool to do, unless you've got a lot of health that you're willing to sacrifice, it's not worth it. Now on to wiping these virus out. Now you may notice that I always use charge shots when I'm in battle like this. It's because the game has the auto lock feature. So you saw that I actually wiped one of those viruses that was actually off screen. It's because as soon as you launch a charge shot at something that you've locked onto, it will home towards it. So you can actually look away entirely from the explosion of the virus disappearing, and it will still, destroy it. Also, that is what I call the sniper shot. That always happens when the battleships spawn. That happens around about 95% of the time, and it kind of guarantees that you won't have to deal with those fighters. Because that's 5 fighters, I believe that is. Alright. Wipe this last guy out. See, these enemies are a bit of a pain to deal with because they actually circle around you. So if you're locking onto them and you're rotating with them, it can make it very tough to lock onto them. Anyway, final 2 battleships. These battleships are completely different to the ones that we saw earlier. Because each of the battleships has a kind of different layout to it. So each time it's completely different. Switching through those, because yeah. Let's see if I can get this. This can be a little bit of a pain to get. Nah, I missed it. What I was trying to do there was actually shoot all these enemies without actually landing. There is a way to do it, but it can be a pain to do. The main reason why is because of the rotation of those barricades, or as I like to call them, they're basically like dividers. I find that this room especially is very, very slippery. Oh, I got it before it went down. That's actually quite helpful. So yeah, if you don't wipe that centerpiece out quick enough, it will actually go back into the ground. And you have to shoot the section on the top. You have to shoot the section on the top again to actually get it out of the ground. And yeah. Especially with that thing in the background generating absolutely ridiculous amounts of lag. It's not ideal. Now onto the final battleship. There is a trick that I go for here, which is so there is a specific thing called a one-cycle heavy chariot, where there is a boss in the room before the core on this battleship, and it is possible to wipe it out in one cycle. Basically, it will open up its center, and there is a way to wipe it out without it closing back up again. And it's safe to say the heavy chariot hits hard. Right, let's see if I can line this up. It's not easy to do. Ah, damn it. If I had got the double twin blaster, if I got the twin blaster upgrade, then I would have been able to get it. But sadly, having just standard twin blasters, which that's actually a trick I'll explain. With these two characters, you get twin blaster as standards. However, the game can still give you a twin blaster. So what it will do instead is, instead of, you know, nullifying the twin blaster ever existed, it actually doubles the damage of the twin blasters themselves. So these twin blaster shots will actually get doubled in damage. So it's almost like a double upgrade. So that's the main section of the game done. Even with the 2 minutes with the tech issue, this time's actually still relatively decent. But hey, you gotta take things as they come. Now the boss you get here is random. There's 3 choices. We've got, this is Tetra. This is the Tetra. This boss can be difficult to deal with if you don't know how it behaves. For Space Blade. Tetra is something else entirely. Wow, I don't know my bosses. But yeah, this boss is actually pretty simple. I don't know why I got those 2 bosses mixed up. They behave differently. But this one, it kind of rotates like that to kind of create like a shield. But I can normally get that boss wiped out before then. So now that's all been liberated, guess what? We're off to Andros. But in fact, we don't. We forgot one member of Star Wolf, and that's Wolf himself. Wolf, in this category, there's no other way to describe it, he's a pain. He's an absolute pain to deal with. Because he takes a little bit more damage than the other members of Star Wolf, and he has the tendency to just dodge shots, like a lot of them. And he will actually launch charge shots back at you. And you may notice that I go up and down, up and down. That is because if I continuously shoot shots directly at him in the middle, he's more likely to dodge. But if they're coming from different angles, he is less likely. He's less likely to actually dodge because they're coming from different angles. What was he doing? He was letting me get to you, monkey face. Anyway, here we go. Boss fights in the 2 categories are somewhat have some similarities, but they're also got some differences. So this first section is relatively the same to the 80% normal category that is up next. This room coming up is the laggiest room in the entire game. It runs around about 10 to 11 frames per second. It is so slow. This is something I'm going to do here to see if I can get a bomb drop. We get Twin Blaster upgrade. See if I can actually pick the thing up. That's a slight issue that I have with the game at times, is that sometimes where you are, it's that, like, you go through a power-up, but it never registers that you picked it up. Like, it can be just slightly off. Those two are trolls if you don't know what if you don't know the category. And now this section. This was why I was trying to get the bomb drop, because if I had got the bomb, I could have wiped all the spikes out without having to do a full lap of it. My damage is not in a good state. That there is to actually save a little bit of time on the cutscene. As you can see, it does not actually have to. If I hadn't changed into the flying mode, the cutscene would have actually played the transformation. So Andros himself, completely random. Completely random. You kind of have to play him as he comes. But because we've got the Twin Blaster upgrade, he should be a lot more bearable. You have to wipe out the two eyes, similar to Star Fox 1, but takes a lot more hits and requires a lot more accuracy. Anyway, this section you're aiming for that switch next near his eye. And now to wipe the cube. And that is time. Speaking of the tech issues, that was actually quite a good run. So my world record in this category is 23:03. So getting sub 30 in this marathon is actually pretty good.
It was a team effort. What's the mission? Adios, Sandor.
I love the voice acting in this cutscene. So yeah, coming up next up, this is any percent normal, which is a much more optimized category. There's less RNG in 80% normal as well. But I will... Oh, 23:04. Don't know why I said 23:03. Yeah, we lost around about 2 and a bit minutes. So without the tech issues, that would have been about 24. But 24, that's not bad. I know, my mic is not that good. I know. I've seen you talking about my microphone, and yeah, I know it's not the best, but... Anyway, let's skip that. Because we are running behind in the schedule. Hang on. It'd be good if I can type my name in. And now on to the more optimized category. Yeah, you're getting 2 for the price of 1. So you'll notice some major differences. You only get 2 planets, and there's only 2 battleships. Let's go!